Okay, so let me put you in this scenario. You're like 5, 6 years old, and then you just have like this happy family. You got like a pet droid, and then all of a sudden, some weird dude in some robes show up and said, "We're taking your child." Takes you, puts you, enforces their religion on you, and then like 2 or 3 years down the line, genocide breaks through, and none of the Jedi are really there to help you because they can't really help themselves, obviously. I feel like that might inspire some anger. Not only were you ripped from your family, but you were almost a victim of mass genocide. I'm just saying.
Welcome back to another Chaotic Corp podcast episode on episode 4 of the Kenobi show. This episode was really good. It had a lot of good filler. I was honestly very surprised by Reva's performance in this episode. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I thought this was one of the weaker ones.
No, because...
Oh, okay, we have a disagreement in the chat.
No.
Disagreement in the chat.
Me and Scott are kind of on the same page. Scott, me and Tristan had a good disagreement on last episode about Reva. Like, he was all kind of like for her, and then how I was kind of like against her, which is good, I mean, it's good that we have,
opposing opinions.
Yeah, of course.
Makes for better content, honestly. It's a lot better than us sitting here like, yeah, I liked it. You liked it? We liked it. Yeah, it's all, yeah.
No.
Great. And then cue the Star Wars end credit scene.
No, I did like her performance in this episode. During that whole interrogation scene with Leia. I thought it was really good. How did everyone else feel about that?
I thought it was a pretty good scene.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good scene, and then the fact that Leia was like resisting her. What I don't understand is how, I don't know, maybe Reva isn't saying shit, but like, how does she not know that Leia's force sensitive at that point?
That's true, because at that point, even children younger than Leia, because she's 10, are already force sensitive. Maybe
especially someone of the Skywalker caliber.
That's true.
Yeah.
Especially someone of the Skywalker caliber.
Maybe because she's never been trained or like knows about it. Like this is kind of
like perhaps, but people have like natural
abilities.
Yeah.
And talents. Yeah.
Natural. Yeah.
Like they move their hand one day and like the mop comes to them like
Yeah, sometimes I mean that we have seen that a couple times in the show. At least that one time when Cad Bane was being hired by, I guess it was like Sidious, to kidnap force-sensitive children to deliver what I'm guessing to him. If you remember one of the species, it was Rodian.
Yeah.
It was a
Rodian.
It was a Rodian baby, and it was like moving some type of like building blocks that it had as like toys. And I just remember Cad Bane coming in posing as a Jedi and was like, "Listen, I'm gonna need to take this thing."
Yeah, I remember that.
So
take this thing.
Take this child that can move stuff with his mind.
So to kind of start off this episode, we're kind of taking right off from where episode 3 ended, where we saw Leia kind of getting chased by Reva, and then I think the fans kind of forgot for a second. At least I did. I don't know why, but maybe I just kind of thought everything was all hunky-dory because so Kenobi does get taken to this new planet that we'd never heard of called Jabim. At least nothing that I've heard of. Maybe it's somewhere in Legends. I really don't know, but I've definitely never heard of it. I didn't really get a good look at the planet. I can't really tell what it's like known for, but we just got a look at like some type of like hangar that they're in, and there's like it seems kind of like maybe like a cave or something, but Kenobi does go into like a bacta tank, and like you said, Scott, that's kind of when he starts having this like nightmarish force. I don't even know what you would call it. It's kind of like what Kylo Ren and Rey had in the newer trilogy. which was interesting to see because you also saw Vader in his back to tank also kind of like not twitching, but like getting a little aggressive in the back to tank. He was probably feeling whatever Kenobi was feeling or something.
I just realized how funny the image would have been to see it's like this burnt pale man that has no limbs just flopping around.
Like a
Like,
flounder fish.
like if they just shot it like slightly different, it would be fucking hilarious. But go on, sorry.
Oh Lord.
All about camera angle, brother.
I'm just
All about
saying.
camera
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And then after that, that's when he was like, "Where's Leia?" And I was like, "Oh, I actually forgot about Leia for a second." And then after that, we do get to see Leia getting interrogated. And like I said before, I really did think that interrogation scene was pretty good on Rev's part. You okay, Gee? Mother of God.
Yeah, I mean, she
Not
definitely
even that.
pulls out better. I think it's like the writing was better, and like she really understood what she had to do for this scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was much better overall. And we also get to know a little bit more about her past too.
A little bit. They kind of tease a little bit more into it. I mean, I hope that there's literally only 2 more episodes. Thank God.
You really hate this episode. You really hate this series.
This series is actually really good. I really like it. No, but yeah,
Well,
there's literally only 2 more episodes, unfortunately.
Well, they're doing a season 2. I've been told. I think that's.
Yeah, see, I feel like they shouldn't drag the shit out.
I feel like it should be a
Like,
one and done thing when it comes
Yeah.
to Kenobi show.
Mhm.
I am not gonna lie. As soon as episode 1 aired and we watched it, as soon as I had the slightest indentation that the show was going to be based around him trying to save Leia and get him back to Bail Organa and his wife, I was like, please, for the love of God, don't let that be the premise. I mean,
It's the whole. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's like I heard a comment on like TikTok that it's like too much like The Mandalorian in a way because it's just like
him with baby.
you got like
Yeah, basically.
it's basically like Lone Wolf with like baby cub trying to get it to like where it's going.
Yeah, I mean, it's just reskinned Mandalorian season 2.
Right.
And we've barely seen Luke at all. Like, isn't he like?
Well,
taking a lot of his
but,
time.
I mean,
I saw a little bit, but like, how much do you really need to see it? I mean,
That's
the reason why Leia is so prominent in this series is because she's the main reason why Kenobi got off at Tatooine, which is how the series is actually possible. Because if they found him on Tatooine and they knew he was on Tatooine, it would have been really impossible for him to still hide on Tatooine for the next 9 years. So
I am glad that it's not just all on Tatooine. I'm sorry to cut you off. Keep going.
Oh no, you're good. So yeah, the reason why Leia is so prominent. Number one, I think the actress who's playing her is doing pretty well. And number two, she's like one of the only viable reasons of why he would leave, and he was even struggling with leaving with that. It took Bail Organa to actually like physically go there and be like, you need to fix this shit.
Right.
So yeah, that's why we're not really seeing much of Luke, and that's why we're seeing Leia's, because Leia is a important plot point to the series.
Right. And they don't really know Luke's connection at all to Anakin or anything like that. He's some farmer's kid.
Right.
He literally knows nothing. Leia knows like everything right now. Which also makes me wonder. I wonder if like when they were older, if she ever told Luke about any of these things, like the Inquisitors. I'm not sure how long the Inquisitors even lasted for. Are we sure about how long they lasted for? Did they last until like the Battle of Yavin?
So I would say
no, go on.
Of comic and Rebels, they kind of ended once like the Grand Inquisitor, spoiler alert, supposedly died in Rebels, and then Vader comes in. He pretty much wipes them all out, and he always hated the Inquisitors. He always disliked them. And that whole project just kind of got terminated because like Vader just takes over that whole task of hunting down and targeting Jedi along with the Empire and everything else.
Right now, really apparently, I think we mentioned it before, but this show along with the first Jedi Fallen Order game,
Mm-hmm.
and something else, and I can't remember, but they're all around the same time zone. So there's like 2 other or 3 other, I think it's 2 other Inquisitors that are fighting Cal right around now. I can't remember. One is a sister. They're actually both sisters. One's second sister, and another is like a really big, beefy sister alien race. I don't know. I honestly didn't know it was a sister. I thought it was a male.
I did too. Until I heard it speak, I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I didn't even. I mean, I've heard it speak from like cutscenes because I haven't even gotten that far into the game yet. But after looking it up online, all the Inquisitors, I saw that one, and I was like, okay, I want to know a little bit more about this. And it was a sister, and I'm like, okay, well, that's news to me. So there's like a handful of Inquisitors, so it doesn't, it's not really too weird that they were all kind of wiped out. But speaking of being wiped out, how about that scene where they're in the temple Inquisitor like base?
That was what I was going to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was like you talking about the scene with like the graves or like the Jedi.
Yeah, they were all. It looked almost as if they were in like not carbonite. That definitely wasn't carbonite. It was something else. It looked like they were almost like frozen in time. I don't think they were dead.
Yeah.
I don't think that they were dead.
Like tire frozen, but like in a different way.
It almost looked like not amethyst. What is it? Is it amethyst?
Yeah, I think it's
No, that's more of like a purple. This was like green.
You know what I'm talking about?
No,
right?
not green,
This
orange.
was like amber.
Amber.
I think they just call it amber. Kind of like you can kind of get like bugs from like museums that are stuck in amber.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of looked like that. And then the child, the youngling at
That
the
was
end,
fucked up.
That
was fucked up.
Yeah, that really set the tone because at first, like, the Inquisitors are just kind of like goofy. They're not as strong as Kenobi, this and that, and then you see all of this and what they're actually truly capable of.
And all those lightsabers too. I mean,
yeah.
that wasn't as chilling as the tomb, but you could see that like they collected them as trophies.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. This is more like a trophy room, like them showing off like maybe their kills, or they could be looking for a new way of like brainwashing them because Sidious is always looking for the Lords and new troopers and stuff like that. So maybe something like that as well.
That's true. The first one that we saw. Go ahead, Tristan.
There was the plot to The Force Awakens 2 was they were trying, or at least I think Vader was trying to perfect a cloning process that will clone a Force user, so he can make an army of Force users.
Oh, and we
so that could be like one of the ideas.
Yeah, absolutely, and we see that also in the Mandalorian later on with the
that too.
Yoda.
Yeah,
those freaks of nature, like bad experiments gone wrong. So definitely are pulling on those strings. So good job, Tristan, picking up on that.
The first Jedi that we get to see that is stuck like in this like amber prison, basically. I can't remember the name, but I'll pull up a picture, and they're from the Clone Wars. It was actually like a teacher that would teach younglings, and it had like a cane that ended up being like a lightsaber. We saw this Jedi. I believe it was a female. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm just gonna assume for the most part. During that one episode where Ahsoka was framed, I believe is what it was. I can't remember. I remember her actually. No, I'm sorry. She lost her lightsaber, and she had to go run after it. And I can't remember who had it. I think it was like a couple like low life bounty hunters. Nobody like too important. And somehow she got wrapped up with that Jedi, that old Jedi teacher. I just remember the teacher's blade being white. That's all that really stuck out to me. And the cane saber. So
Surprised those, cane saber.
Yeah, the cane saber. But like I said, I really can't remember a name, so I'll just kind of pull the picture. But
I thought, I did see one of the. You remember the 3 Jedi, or like 4 Jedi that attacked Palpatine in Episode 3?
yeah.
Remember the one guy with like the 2 horns?
Was he in there?
I thought I saw him.
I didn't see that. I mean, if you
It
saw
was
that,
like in the very first shot of like the tombs,
oh,
and I thought I saw
oh,
him.
like
I'm like,
off to the side, maybe.
yeah, he was on the side. It was
When
very.
he went into the room.
When you went into the room, like you see it's like a out focus shot of Obi-Wan. He's like walking amongst all of them. He was like in the back. I think I saw him, not 100% sure. And I also thought I saw what could have been whoever is the main Jedi in Jedi Fallen Order. What is his name? Cal Katarn or Cal Katarn?
Cal Kestis.
You think Cal Kestis is in there? No, this is around the same time.
I think his teacher.
Oh, his teacher.
The one who taught him.
His teacher had like
Yeah,
4
like that.
arms, whatever race that is.
T'Pol.
Huh?
I think his name was T'Pol.
I think T'Pol was in there too. I'm not 100% sure, but there was like this one big Jedi that had like the same robes and everything. So I'm like, I wonder if that's who that is.
I remember him having in the game, and I haven't really gone to watch that. Like, I've seen a lot of the cutscenes. I haven't really seen that cutscene because I kind of want to play it and experience it for myself because I know it's an Order 66 thing in the game. But I remember him having on like the clone, like general,
like little like armor pieces.
yeah, kind of like Kenobi would wear and Skywalker would wear, but I don't really remember him wearing robes too much.
He
Really
did more like
wearing robes.
armor on Wars. You're right.
Yeah, I mean the only people I really remember wearing robes maybe would have been like Mace Windu with like light armor, maybe like shoulder pads, and maybe definitely Obi-Wan definitely had some robes too, but not long. But I don't know. I know a lot of people were really, really hoping that we would see some type of like Clone Wars era like flashbacks with like Hayden Christensen and Obi-Wan or Ewan McGregor in their personas with like the armor on. I don't know if we're gonna get that. I feel like
I don't know if we're gonna get that either. But like, why else would they have Hayden Christensen, on here? Because they could have just gotten
someone else to play Darth Vader.
Yeah,
like a body double or something.
Exactly. Yeah, because like originally, like in Revenge of the Sith, it wasn't even him that put it on because he was too small.
Right.
So, why would they bring him back just to do that when they have? I mean, I guess like for the fans, but like also you have to utilize that in a way. I feel like he does a better Anakin than he does Vader.
Right.
That's true.
Maybe I mean, like he does. He's not even the voice. He's like half Vader. So I feel like if you're gonna bring the man, the myth, the man himself back, it should be for Anakin or some kind of scene with Anakin. Aside from that one little like snippet that we saw in the desert.
I was gonna say that. The only really times that we see him is like 100% you could tell it was him when they were suiting up in episode 2, suiting up as Vader. And then, or was it episode 3? Was it episode 2? I think it was.
I think it was episode 3.
It was 3?
Because episode 2 ended with
Vader.
With him like yeah.
Yeah. Was that, I could just automatically tell. It looked
build a new Lego Darth Vader.
It was definitely him suiting up, and then like you said before, you saw him in that like little mirage that Obi-Wan was having on that mining planet. So that was another thing. So, but yeah, no, I mean, maybe you're right. I can only hope that maybe we'll get something.
Nice, which did their only hope.
Thanks, bud. Pulling references out of,
he is doing the back to tank scene, so that is something. But you're right.
There's
a star power there.
Yeah, it's definitely him. But still, with that, they could have had someone do makeup and stuff because his head is freaking huge in that. I don't know why, but like with the Vader like makeup and all in the
Sometimes you just swole up.
his head
Like,
is
you know,
huge.
after you get burned alive, some things change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. What was another good scene in this show? I like how they basically showed all of those stormtroopers like drowning.
Oh, that was
They're
something. Yeah.
definitely getting.
Trooper.
I'm sorry. What was that, Scott?
We got a purge trooper. Those the
Yeah,
some of
we
the,
did get to see a purge trooper. That was cool.
that was cool.
But yeah,
The one thing I will say about this series, and someone said that they believe that they have two different cuts of the same like Star Wars series. There's like a baby version and then there's like a horror version, and they do it like depending on like what the audience reaction is. And they said that I think starting at like episode 3, they started like giving the horrific version, and then
yeah,
like
Revenge of the Sith. You mean?
no, I'm talking about like
Oh,
the
the
Kenobi
show.
show.
Okay.
And but whether or not that's true or not, I really enjoy like the way this is going. It's kind of brutal.
Mhm.
People drowning. You saw Darth Vader snap its neck for no reason.
Dude, that was a kid's
It was-
neck too.
Right.
That
It was.
like young.
Yeah, he was like a teenager. I was
He
like,
has
yo,
one more family. She's like the only survivor left.
right. He just pulled people out of windows. I was just like, you know, it was. I know I'm talking about a different episode, but
No,
like
you're
I
right.
think the series, seeing the tomb and especially the youngling at the end.
Right.
It's just
Oh,
like
yeah, that was
something you like really wouldn't expect. Like I enjoy like how like real they're making this,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but yeah, it is. Yeah,
Along with Moon Knight too, not to go off of shows, but like
right. Yeah, Moon Knight. I mean, our last season was on that, so it's not completely irrelevant. But yeah, Moon Knight had its like fair share of like goriness.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they're definitely
so-
taking a good step in the direction. They're definitely
So
taking
they're
a
not
game.
Disney-fying everything.
Yeah,
One thing-
You know.
someone finally got in their head and was like, "Hey,
Mhm.
change it up." What were you gonna say, Scott?
One thing I do love is that they're showing Vader's conflict. Like, yeah, you know he's pure evil, but like at the same time though, there's moments where like he hesitates or he
Yeah.
does stuff that like he's not. So there still is that little flicker of like goodness in him that I love seeing.
I
So
don't
So
know.
are you?
It
So
might-
are you referencing? So are you referencing the last episode? Because I heard a theory about the last episode.
What was
Or
the-
Yeah,
why
I'm
he
talking
didn't-
about the last episode and like maybe the one like he hesitated with the girl, Reva. He's like, you know, because he honestly,
There's
I
that.
thought he was just like gonna kill her like out.
And
like,
normal
just
Vader
after
would
that,
have.
like, he probably would have, honest to God, if she didn't say,
Yeah.
"I put the tracker on him." I'm like, where did you get the time to put this tracker on the ship? I legit thought she was lying, but then like you see the
I-
robot, and, like,
Yeah, and that's what we thought at first too. Scott was like me.
We
Yeah,
thought
obviously
it
me
was
and
all
Jordan.
Maria.
Just for audience reference, me and Jordan watch it together, and Scott watch it separately. At first, like we were both saying, like, yeah, she's bluffing, and then the moment where she said it will follow him wherever he goes, I was like, oh, he put some shit on like Leia or Lola or something. And it was at that point we realized that she wasn't bluffing; she actually put a tracker on them.
I don't know. I wonder
but
why
the
they had
thing
tracker
about-
like that.
I don't know, but my theory or a theory that I heard from TikTok was the reason why this is going off the end of the last episode where Vader just didn't put out the flames and went towards Kenobi. The reason why he hesitated and didn't go after him was because he knew that if he striked him down, then he would be fully committing himself to the dark side. Because there was certain points.
I love that theory.
Yeah, because like at the end of the Clone Wars, people saw that as him trying to find Ahsoka and like try to figure out, like he had like an internal conflict, like the same way that Ben Solo did. Was that, you know, the light side was within his friends, which Ben Solo was with his dad. So he either needed to embrace his friends or kill his friends, choose one side or the other. So at that point where he was, you know, he finally had Kenobi in his grasp. Of course, it was after 10 years, and that's what he's been hunting for. But there was a part of him that just didn't want to fully commit to the role. And that's why he didn't go after him at that point, which I feel like is the only feasible theory. Some other person said that it was like him toying with his prey, but I was like, this is Kenobi. I feel like he would
He's much
not
more
let him
big guy.
escape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like yeah, toying with him is like one thing. Like that entire scene, he was toying with him, but to let him go to a point where he gets to a planet that he doesn't know about, I don't think that theory is feasible. I think the first theory of when he was like he just couldn't do it, he couldn't stomach doing it at that moment of time. I think that's more of a feasible theory than
I like that theory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But no, let's talk about that scene where, basically after. Okay, so let me restart. So of course, Kenobi's there to rescue Leia, of course, with Tala, the Imperial officer, kind of like spy working for the rebels, kind of. Or I guess like at that time they called it the Path. Well, no, I'm sorry. The Path was a completely separate thing from the the rebels, but so they're there at the facility. A bunch of stuff happens where Kenobi kind of gets caught. They finally get Leia back. Alarms start going off, and then everyone's kind of alerted that he's there. They do eventually escape, and along with some of these. What ships were they, Tristan? We said that we were thinking that. I thought that they were A-wings.
You thought they were A-wings, but no,
The
they
Lance-
were the only thing that I really known them as to be or be called is Snowspeeders.
They're Snowspeeders.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, the A-wings are like.
But you're positive that they're two different ships.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
they are.
I compared pictures. Yeah, those were like a very close model to the Snowspeeders we saw in Empire.
Okay.
The
didn't have-
the A-wing is more. How do I?
They were.
No, they weren't.
Snowspeeders
I don't.
That were used on Hoth, though.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, I think they were like a slightly different model, but mostly it was the same thing.
Right, because it wasn't on Hoth; they were on a different planet.
Well, of course, yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
So they do get the escape on some of those, and then after that, Reva
Dude.
takes out one, and
Yeah.
then Vader comes through, and he's pissed because you can see by the
Yeah,
way
he's
so
just
I love
walking.
that. I'm like, it's just
Dude,
like, oh,
it was great.
Yeah,
That was.
and then
I
he
love
immediately
that.
just and
Right.
took Reva like by the throat and was just like, "All right, you failed me for the last time," type stuff, because that's
Mhm.
what he likes to say. But and then that is eventually toward at the end of the episode, right when we see that she had placed a
Something and like
yeah, she somehow like reprogrammed Layla.
Lola.
She somehow like had reprogrammed Lola or something. Don't know how she did it, but Lola's now like a tracker basically. So
Yeah.
I think she turned it into like a probe droid, like the way of like it
it's
lit
just
up.
like-
guys. You're just
like
comparing
switching switching out like operating systems. I mean, that would make sense.
I feel like the probe
She could have been.
really small, by the way, compared to the,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, right?
But it's also like
Wait.
in the early years of the Empire, they probably just didn't perfect the model yet.
Maybe.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because that's obviously a different model than we saw in Episode
Right.
5.
Episode
Empire.
5 was like at least like life size.
Oh yeah,
Right.
But yeah, no. What was everybody's favorite? What was
When
everyone's favorite? scene?
Vader was whenever Vader was pissed, that I
Agree.
loved.
I love that too.
You know,
That and the
Just dude, James Earl Jones is just a fucking fantastic job on that shit.
apparently they actually didn't. Apparently, and I don't know how true this is, but apparently they didn't actually get James Earl Jones back. He wasn't able to. He's not dead or anything. He just wasn't able to.
All right.
They just took a bunch of scenes and audio from old movies and then just mashed them up. I don't know how true that is.
No, that's false because I saw an article like, "Oh my God, James Earl Jones is back, 91, still doing Vader." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's really cool."
Well, I mean, that's what I saw too, and then I saw this other thing saying that he wasn't actually there. So
Either way, whatever is happening, it's happening very well.
yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to say my favorite scene was when Leia was strapped to the armchair for interrogation. The
I know where
lights
you're
shut
going with this.
off, and Kenobi pulled
Oh,
out his
that.
lightsaber
Oh.
and chopped down one of the stormtroopers, turned it off, ran to the other side, and did the same to the other stormtrooper.
See, I thought you were about to comment on like Reva's performance, on like how emotional she kind of got,
Oh no,
or like
I'm
on
just saying
in the
that was my
background.
favorite part for that. But no,
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. What I'm saying is, when I said I think I know where you're going with this, that's where I thought you were going. But honestly, that was a really good one too. That was
yeah,
basically that was like Star Killer.
yeah, no,
I remember when the lights went off. I'm like, I think it's Star Killer time, Jordan.
it was like for a trailer for like the game or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you could probably put up like footage of it. I mean,
I,
what's
I
just
have to
Disney
find
gonna
it,
do?
but
Is
yeah.
strike us down?
Um,
I'll send it to you.
oh
And
yeah,
it's
no, do that,
probably
do that,
easy to find where they were in a dark room.
do that.
Obviously, it was a lot cooler in that cinematic because there's multiple troopers and
Right.
Starkiller had like two blades, but it had the same feel where it was like you didn't see where he was because he kept on like
Right.
turning off his lightsaber and just disappearing in the dark. That was great.
But no, back to what you were saying. When she
I
was
am
strapped,
tonight. Sorry, go on.
when she was strapped to the chair and she was kind of getting a little bit more emotional, I almost felt like maybe she really wasn't wanting to truly
Oh, of
harm
course not.
Leia. And the things that she was saying, like the people that abandon you are not coming back. And I think she might have said something. She let something slip. I think she said like they did to me or something.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how she used to have a droid and all this and that,
Mhm.
and how it was taken from them or from her. And I remember Tristan, you had mentioned something about like that's probably when the
What the
Jedi
Jedi
killed her.
did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but like I don't. It doesn't make sense for her to have like resentment towards the Jedi just for that. I mean, maybe I don't know why she would really have resentment for the
If
for the
you
Jedi.
if you got okay, so let me put you in this scenario. You're like 5, 6 years
I
old. I
know where
mean,
you're going with
you
this.
can remember shit, and then you just have like this happy family. You got like a pet droid. I mean,
You're right. No.
well, yeah. I mean, pet droid, pet, whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, some weird dude in some robes show up and said, we're taking your child." Takes you,
I understand that.
puts you, enforces their religion on you, and then like 2 or 3 years down the line, genocide breaks through,
Hmm.
and none of the Jedi are really there to help you because they can't really help themselves. Obviously, I feel like that might inspire some anger.
Maybe because
Just a little bit.
they're mad that they brought them into that situation, kind of.
Not only were you ripped from your family, but you were almost a victim of mass genocide
Yeah, no,
because they ripped you.
I can understand that.
I'm just saying. I feel like it makes sense to me.
No,
What if she actually has resentment against the Sith? Like she was happy being a Jedi,
there was a theory about that,
Yeah.
and I
man, like Palpatine came in like, "Oh, child, I hope you, use that anger, forcing them to do these things,
no, you're not wrong. There is a theory about that. But my theory is that she's trying to get closer to Vader to somehow maybe take him out or something, because of bringing Obi-Wan, back into Vader's life after 10 years and this and that. That hence why she was so obsessed, because she has her own agenda, her own plan. So that was kind of like my theory and a bunch of other people's theories. I'm just kind of rolling with that one right now. But
What do you think she's trying to take Vader's place as Palpatine's apprentice?
either that or somehow take out Vader. Maybe, I feel like maybe she hasn't really had time to really talk to Kenobi other than episode 2. So I feel like, she might turn back, maybe some kind of sort of. If not turn back, then maybe like me and you can take Vader out together type stuff, and then Vader just like kills her, and maybe Obi-Wan and Vader have one last fight. He escapes, and that's the last they see of each other until episode 4.
that could be what happens. I mean, like the nature of the Sith, and I know that Inquisitors aren't Sith, but they could be ambitious anyhow. The nature of the Sith is, one has the power, one desires the power.
Right.
That's what the rule of two basically is.
Right.
And it's an endless cycle of apprentice slaying master over and over and over again. So it could be kind of that way. I mean, like I said, she's technically not Sith, but like she's still a dark side, user. So
Right. But
Can you imagine if she found out that Leia was like Anakin's child, and then she tells Vader? Like, can you imagine what would happen?
I don't
Like,
think she would tell Vader. I can almost guarantee it. I don't think she would ever. If she found out, I don't think she would tell Vader.
I mean, realistically, it wouldn't happen because But
I'm wondering if she'll ever reveal to Vader that she knows who he really is, because
I don't. I mean,
Nah.
if that happens, she's dead.
no, of course, but it's not a known thing that if you know who he is, you die, because everyone that ever lived, or anybody that
Everyone that figured it out and is widely known to figure it out probably is dead.
right. So
or they else like Thrawn and Tarkin.
well, they were. I don't. Yeah, they were like, I guess, trusted
Thrawn-
by Palpatine,
Thrawn-
so they kind of just weren't.
No, Thrawn personally, they were talking about killing him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Thrawn was coming up with the theory that Anakin is Vader,
I thought he knew.
and I don't think he like straight up like knew. I think he had a very good educated guess.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like talking, like I think Vader and Sidious were talking about killing him because he had the theory.
I've heard a lot of good things.
But
about the
Tarkin-
Ahsoka show.
I think Tarkin might be a different case. You might be right on that. But for Thrawn himself, they were discussing killing him because of that shit.
Okay.
Yeah. It was there like in the Clone Wars. He probably just like figured out like, oh my gosh, the same moves, same anger.
Right. I've seen they've come out with some concept art with the Ahsoka show, because it's supposed to be technically like season 5 of Rebels, and like at the end of Rebels, Tarkin and damn it, what's his name? It's not Isaiah. What is it? It's
Ezra.
It wasn't Tarkin, but it was.
not Tarkin. I meant Thrawn.
There
you go.
And Ezra go missing. I told you, Tristan, like a theory that someone else had come up with, that they were in like one of the unknown space regions of the Star Wars galaxy, in the Outer Rim, and that they were involved with the Grisk, which were really powerful. I don't think they're Force users, but they were really. I can't remember if it's Legends or if it is canon now. I can't remember, but they had armor that couldn't be pierced.
Oh yeah.
Saber.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple like concept arts of them being able to take a blade and just hold it with their bare hand, which I find really cool. If it's true, then this is going to be awesome.
Right.
But there was some concept art, because they released the snippet at that Star Wars con of the Ahsoka show. I don't think an official trailer has come out yet, but from what I saw, like the little snippets, it looked like it was really great, because like we get like a live action Rebels cast, but there was some concept art that Thrawn and Ezra were like fighting alongside each other, like different like alien races and stuff, just trying to like stay alive and stuff. So I thought, I think it's gonna be great, but it's just kind of like a side tangent.
Imagine if we're watching the Ahsoka series, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ezra shows up, right?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Mandalorian season 5.
That'd be especially people saying about Obi-Wan, like Obi-Wan's gonna be Mandalorian
Like-
season 4 or whatever.
like episode 4 of Obi-Wan is called The Birth of the Mandalorian.
That's what I heard.
Oh my god.
That's what I heard this episode was supposed to be called. So thank you for watching or listening to us on episode 4 of the Kenobi Show. We do stream from time to time on Twitch. You can follow me at twitch.tv/hotpocket61. Of course, you can follow Tristan on the YouTube and on twitch.tv/PauloYourKing. Scott, you have some stuff that you want to put in there.
You can find me at Instagram at s.simpson21, and you can find me right here with the boys at Chaotic Corp YouTube channel. Subscribe to us, boys. Leave a like, and you might get $1 million.
Don't
Maybe.
promise that. Shut up, Scott.
He only said might.
Mike.
We didn't make any promises.
Follow
Might.
of course, follow the Reddit. Follow us on Discord. Join our group, our little army growing. And maybe you could be in a podcast, or you could, we'll play some games. It'll be fun. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.